We are broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. At least it used to be. I don't know what the hell we are anymore. We're the furthest thing from united. We have allowed our country to be overthrown, if you will. You know, we're the land of all these opinions, but when half the opinions are trash, what do you have left? You got a mess. Welcome to the United Mess of America. My name is Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And today is Tuesday, November the 7th, 2023, voting day. Blake, did you vote today?
I did not. I don't even know what I was supposed to vote for. I think it's only in certain states.
You have nothing to vote for today? It's not even like a school levy or a dog catcher?
Not that I'm aware of. Maybe there is. I haven't heard anything. So I heard there was some sort of voting thing, but I think it's just regional. Did you? Is there something going on in Louisville, Kentucky? Is it okay?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's you're voting for something or you're voting against something. I get, if you're to believe what happened in 2020, I don't. The story is that there were so many people voting against Trump that it's, of course, Biden got 81 million legitimate votes. So yeah, are you voting against Democrats or are you voting for something else today? I don't know.
Was it a mayoral election, state government, or was it just like a sheriff? Like what was up for vote?
Yeah, governor.
Governor. Okay, well, that's a big one. Yeah. Okay.
That's a really big one.
There's a major one in Virginia. That's going to be one of our headline stories, obviously.
Yeah.
For the thumbnail. But
and it gave you the option today. It gave the option to just vote a straight party ticket. And since I'm voting against the lunatics, I just went with a straight ballot the other way.
How original, Brian. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, anti-lunatic. Wow, I'm so progressive. I guess anti-progressive then. But no, I was very happy to see the voter IDs were required. You had to do that to get your ballot in the first place. And then when you went in, it was paper ballot. It wasn't a digital thing. A computer didn't read it. It was just a paper ballot. Thank God. We've got to get to that in all 50 states. None of this trusting some sort of box with a magical code that nobody can audit. No thanks. No late night drops paid for with Zuckerbucks. No thanks. No thanks. Hey, Dreamer, by the way, thanks. Shout out to Dreamer Ultra. I just mailed it out today. Dreamer is getting two different sets of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show wooden coasters. They will be arriving in 3 to 5 days, says USPS ground shipping. Thank you for that support, man. They're super cool. They're super cool. They're wooden and they're laser engraved. They're etched, like they're burned into it. I don't even know the process. A family friend ended up making them. Super awesome. Thank you, Dreamer Ultra. Good to see you in the chat room. Leave all your comments, by the way, and subscribe to all of the things that say the Agree to Disagree show, all the things that say the New American Media. And Blake is on X. He is at TV's Blake Walley, and he is on his site at thenextlevelnews.com. But yeah, it was really, really, I was blown away. First, you need to show your ID to get your ballot, and then it was a paper ballot. It really wasn't just straight into a computer to be, there was a glitch. Oh, we had to pause and figure it out over the next couple of days. Sure you did. For the first time in history, sure you did. No thanks. I want paper ballots, same-day voting, no drop boxes, no mail-in, signature verification, please, in those super rare instances. So, yeah, it was a big deal for us. We'll see if we're stuck with Andy Bashir or if we get Daniel Cameron.
All right, well, let's get rest to the headlines. I don't know if we even know who those people are.
Oh, yeah. Daniel Cameron, like they're right at the center of that whole say her name, the Breonna Taylor thing in Louisville. It was a big national story, and Trump very heavily endorsed him. So that was kind of elevated a bit. But yeah, if you have the chance and you haven't had a chance to go out there and vote yet, please go do so. You can always check our show out after. It will be posted in all of the places. Go vote if you don't have the time. So yes, we will jump into today's program with all sorts of interesting stuff. We're going to talk about modern Democrats. Have they become unhinged radical leftists? We're going to ask about the American public. Should they not view the Nashville Nutjobs manifesto? By the way, we need to get that trending hashtag Nashville Nutjob. Also, the officers that leaked said manifesto should be prosecuted or persecuted severely. Also, is Trump mentally more sharp than Biden and built for peace? I don't know. Do you agree or disagree that ChatGPT is better as Grok with humor as an added twist? Also, as an occupying power, Israel has no right to self-defense. Agree or disagree? Zionism is Nazism, question mark. Has Israel turned into the Fourth Reich? And then a third one that I put in here and I can't seem to find, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So we are going to launch today's Agree to Disagree show right about now. All right, everybody. Thank you for sticking around on the Agree to Disagree show. I did actually find the fourth subject here that I have to copy and paste, and now it's in. Hopefully it doesn't show up on the screen, but here's the question. Blake, agree or disagree? Modern Democrats have become unhinged radical leftists. Agree or disagree?
100% agree. And I have always been a liberal my entire life since I was a kid, and I can say firsthand that yes, I've seen a very unusual transition where I was on the same page with them up and through the Bush years. They went unhinged slowly during the Obama administration, and now they're unrecognizable, just like radical communist leftists. And they are freaking out, and they absolutely, it's weird because they've kind of like embraced their old enemies, the neocons, to go against Make America Great Republicans under Trump. So they just, they have the Trump derangement syndrome. It's absolutely real. And we saw some of this take place just recently today in Virginia. So that's on the thumbnail. Is the unhinged radical leftist freaking out at some Republican during voting day.
All right, well, let's go ahead and pull this one up and see, just a bit of a snapshot, if you will, into the state of affairs, the mentality of the American left. Oh, this is the wrong one. This is the second one.
I'll pull up a quick story here, and then I'll run to the video. You got the backup just in case mine won't run, and it might not. Okay, this is an unusual new look from Restream, but we'll run with it. So, vile leftist thug abuses GOP poll worker in Arlington, Virginia, with the video. Today is election day in several states, including, there you go, Brian, Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. So just a few isolated places. But anyway, but it is important, obviously, to go make your voice heard. Hopefully get voter ID, so it's legitimate and no shady election equipment. All right, so according to Byron York of the Washington Examiner, the story behind this exchange from Matthew Hurt, chairman of the Arlington GOP and maker of the video, he was at his fourth polling location in the morning handing out Republican sample ballots. He'd already talked to the Democratic poll greeters and a few voters when this man approached me. I offered a Republican sample ballot, and then he flew into a rage, calling me names, spouting the sort of tropes you hear in the video. Then he went inside to vote. And I assumed he would come out afterwards and continue his verbal assault. So he turned his camera on and slid it into his shirt pocket. And what you see in the video is actually the second exchange.
Oh, I didn't know there were two of these. Okay.
Either did I. So here we go. Unhinged progressive, well, quote progressive, regressive. But anyway, let's run the video.
Overthrow the election. You might have been as well have been walking up to my head on the way from bullying.
Yeah, Brian, that's why I'm giving you the back. I can't trust these things.
You expect me to not take that fucking personally? You fucking try to overthrow elections with violence?
Wait. Overthrow the election with violence. They're just at a local election in Arizona. I don't remember any violence happening in 2020, if this is what he is referring to. Or is this, Virginia with the Youngkin election? Was there violence? I don't remember. I could be wrong. I'm just saying.
I mean, there was violence when Hamas sympathizers took over the Capitol and stormed D.C. over the weekend. And
wait a
last
second.
week,
Are they Hamas sympathizers or are they Palestinian sympathizers? Because there's a huge difference. Are they actually supporting radical Hamas, or are they empathizing with innocent Palestinians that are getting bombed indiscriminately in Gaza?
I think what this guy's talking about is January 6th.
Okay, fair enough.
That would be my guess.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, he thinks that Joe Biden won.
Right. Yeah, 81 legitimate votes. 81 million, yes.
Oh, of course, totally legitimate.
Among decent people.
Thanks for
coming out. What do you have to say that, huh? What's on your fucking what are your policy prescriptions?
Have a nice day. You've already
fucking rapist rights.
Yeah.
Involving yourself in people's fucking families and their fucking bedrooms.
It's pretty wild.
You fucking animal.
By the way,
trying to steal my vote.
Yeah, it gets good right there if you want to rewind it a scotch. But getting inside someone's bedrooms, like the Biden administration, puppeted by Barack Hussein Obama, got inside of your body, mandating that you had to take a medicine.
Yes.
What is more invasive than literally inside of your skin? But then they want to yap about being involved in people's bedrooms. It's so hypocritical. It's insane. That's the Democrat Party that was pushing for all of that stuff, by the way.
Yeah, agreed.
You try to steal my vote next year? I'm going to
steal voting.
Fucking remember you personally.
Thank you.
That is a threat.
In fact, I'm taking a fucking picture of you.
Oh, he's going to take a fucking picture, man.
Right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. It's a one-party consent state.
Shitbird? Yeah, one-party state. You want a fucking one-party country is what you want.
Hey, sir, how are you? Headed in to vote? Yeah. Can I get a Republican sample ballot?
Let's be real here. The left wants to actually re-educate people, and yeah, they would have marched. They want to take all the conservatives' guns away, and go and force the experiments on people. They would round conservatives up and throw them in re-education camps if they could get away with it.
Ballot?
And by the way,
yeah.
Oh, I just want to add, Vladimir Zelensky is saying that this is not the time for presidential elections in Ukraine. You want a one-party state? Look at what your boy Biden and all of his corrupt business dealings with Burisma and Hunter, all the blackmail and bribery going on over there, driving us to the verge of World War fucking III. That's your party, pal. That's your party. And that's Zelensky banning elections, banning opposing parties, banning media. You want to talk Nazis? Yeah, that's your party, pal. And you can see it from 4 hours ago. Zelensky's up there saying this is not the time for elections. That's exactly what a tyrant would say. And that's exactly what Joe Biden is going to try to pull next year. And we're not letting him get away with it.
Oh, dude, I think the average age of the soldiers now is 43 years old in Ukraine. They're grabbing people off of buses and trains and whatever, and forcing them into the front lines because they're so out of soldiers, which are just being turned into cannon fodder by the Russians.
And by the way, let me just, since I'm gonna shoehorn this in there, let me just give you a brief overview of what I'm talking about here, because I wanted this to be in the stack. We didn't get to it, but it's a nice place to at least mention it and move along. Zelensky, actually, maybe I could pull this up because just be a second here if it lets me.
Two to go, and we'll finish. There's not much left.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Finish that.
The face of a good neighbor, but they support lynch mobs.
They support lynch mobs, is what he said. Oh, fuck.
That's a good one.
Where does he get this info from? This is the leftist. This is the Obama media.
You know where he gets it from? Probably the same place that the Nashville nut job got her information from. These people are getting brainwashed. They're getting mentally abused by the liars and legacy media and the Democrat Party. The Karine Jean-Pierres, the Obamas, the Bidens. They are brainwashing people and causing mental damage to this guy, to the Nashville nut job, all across the country.
Yep.
Bigots and freaks.
Now they're weaponized against their own Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your Prius.
And they're not good neighbors.
Nope. So there we go. There is our. I don't think there's anything more. Same video over here. So.
Well, let me just add this because he's talking about a one-party state. Fine. Since he brought it up, let's go. Zelensky says it's not the time for presidential elections in Ukraine. Oh, really? You don't think the people that are being basically kidnapped from their homes and forced into a slaughter wouldn't like to choose any other option than you? Nut job. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said Monday he doesn't believe it's the right time for elections as debate intensifies on holding a vote in 2024 while the country fights against Russia's invasion. All elections, including the presidential vote set to take place next spring, are technically canceled under martial law that has been in effect since the conflict began last year. We must decide that now is the time of defense, the time of battle, on which the fate of the state and people depends, Zelensky said in his daily address. He said it was a time for the country to be united, not divided, adding, I believe that now is not the right time for elections. The front line between the warring sides has remained mostly static for almost a year, despite a much-touted Ukrainian counteroffensive, with Russian forces entrenched in southern and eastern Ukraine. Officials from the U.S. and Europe, Kyiv's key allies, are reported to have suggested holding negotiations to end the grinding 20-month-old conflict. But Zelensky has fiercely denied that Ukraine's counteroffensive has hit a stalemate, or that Western countries were leaning on Kyiv to enter talks. The U.S. and other supporters have publicly maintained that they're ready to back Kyiv with military and financial aid for as long as it takes to defeat Russia. That's cool, because who the hell has unlimited money? Because we don't. Global attention has turned to the Middle East since October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, and Zelensky has come under increasing pressure. So anyway, there's your one-party system backed by Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden and Karine Jean-Pierre and Victoria Nuland and the Democrat Party. So you want to talk about unhinged radical leftists? Yeah, you can put Zelensky in there because he's really the puppet at the end of the Obama-Biden string, the New World Order puppet over there. Of course he doesn't want elections because he'd get trounced. And that's the same reason why Biden's going to try to pull it.
Right. Well, at least the neocons also want him there too. But yeah, they support that. And it would be interesting to see that unhinged leftist in Virginia because he would be able to support that because he'd be like, oh, they're fighting Nazis, get to Russia. I'd be like, no, you're funding the Azov Nazis in Ukraine to fight Russia. And all they want to do is rescue their own people that are, ethnic Russians in the eastern and southern parts of Ukraine that are being genocided over there.
Well, I think some of the neocons' wind has been taken out of their sails with putting Mike Johnson in at speaker. Definitely the funding has been detached. They are not going to rubber stamp anything more in Ukraine. Now, we got
perhaps with Israel, that's another story. But
it's another batch of problems on the other side. But it seems like they're turning on Zelensky. They're ready to toss him to the dogs. My guess, if I were making a prognostication, not a recommendation, mind you, I think Zelensky is going to get offed. I think they are going to. He knows too much. He's bribed too much. He's done too little. He's sacrificed too many of his people. Somebody, whether it's a deep state CIA asset or whether it's somebody from an opposition party who's been silenced by the tyrant, my guess is he's not going to be there 12 months from now. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Is it going to be an airplane going down? Is it going to be hand-to-hand situation, a couple of pops? Is it going to be a blast? Is it going to be a resignation and fleeing to Antarctica somewhere? I don't know, but I just do not see Zelensky being there 12 months from now. Mark my words. That's not a threat. It's just if I were putting a $10 bet down, that's what I would be doing. Blake, if you want any of your prop bets, by the way, I know you share some of them. You're like, I was so close. I had a 10-leg parlay. And doggone it, if Johnson would have just got 3 more yards, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you rascally kids.
Oh, I've taken some really bad beats the last few weeks, and I like to bet on sports. But yeah, some of those basketball and football props I do have fun with. But sometimes it's just like one guy that just like I need like 4 more yards. Just
Yeah.
throw 4 yard pass, something, and I could win like $800 or zero. And it's so frustrating. So that's the way it goes. So there's always a danger of sports gambling. So I don't like recommend it for anybody, but I lived in Vegas for a long time, so I try to keep them reasonable $10-20 bets here and there. But it is frustrating when you're that close. But I have won some on the other hand too. But yeah, I usually show you just the bad beats.
Yeah, when you share with me, I just like, hey, the house always wins. I don't want to see any of my buddies turn into degenerate gamblers. But yeah, man,
right. Kevin Durant, like 4 more points, I would have won $1,100. There's one guy had I just need like one more rebound, just one more rebound. It's like $1,100 just sitting there. It's so frustrating. But anyway,
yeah,
I should put a promo link for FanDuel or something, but I don't want to see people lose their money because it's you can get carried away very easily. Fortunately, I'm still up on the year. I'll just call it luck, not a ton of skill, but yeah, try not to get carried away. Anyway, Brian, have you signed up yet?
No, not yet. I guess I probably should collect that free money, but once again,
free money.
It's like
always wins.
It's like the 7th grader giving you the free. The drugs for free the first time, then they'll get you on the bat, then they'll make money off you for the rest of your high school career. They want you hooked. But, you survived Vegas for all those years. If anybody can do it, you can. But yeah. Anyway,
the average person's going to get slaughtered. So just be very, very careful if you do sign up for any of that stuff.
Well, speaking of getting out of control, here's another video. I haven't even had a chance to review
this. Is a very quick one. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a quick one. This is some election day meltdowns. And by the way, I will say, watching that first video, it did remind me of when I voted last year, or I guess 2 years ago. And there was a poll. There was somebody in the parking lot that was electioneering. And I'm like, I really disliked it. I'm like, you can't do this. And he was pushing for the radical lunatic party. So obviously I took note of it, but I guess he was technically 200, 300, 400 feet away from the door. I mean, he was right at the border. He was right there in the parking lot. I'm like, don't you have to be off property to be doing this? You're doing this in the parking lot. This is way too close for comfort. I don't like this at all. And I did confront him, and then I did call to get some verification and see if somebody could assist to get him removed. But I guess he was within his rights, but I didn't start cussing at him, and I didn't get in his face and do all of that. But, I guess let's see what this guy does in the truck.
All right.
Hi. All MAGA needs to go to Gitmo. You Republican MAGA.
All MAGA needs to go to Gitmo.
You're scum, buddy.
Yeah, all right. Go to Gitmo. Yeah, why would you want to make America great again? What a crazy thing. Why would anybody want to make America great again? Scum, go to Gitmo, right?
I don't see Republicans calling for Democrats to go to Gitmo or to be re-educated or any of that stuff. So who are the really unhinged radicals? Or do you? I don't know.
Hillary, Obama, Biden.
No. I said what Republicans are calling for Democrats to go to Gitmo or to be like re-educated.
Not enough.
Not enough. But then you'd be joining with this guy. Then you're no better. You'd be.
I think Hillary and Biden and Obama.
Democrats, right?
I think they're traitors. I think they're complete traitors to this country. Bribed and blackmailed. They're selling us out. Yes, I think they
should be held accountable, or they should see if they're actually doing something. And if they're actually found guilty, then yeah, maybe they would go to Gitmo. That'd be fine. But yeah, just calling for just general MAGA people to be thrown in Gitmo. They would do it. They don't want judge or jury. They don't want a trial. They just want to boom. It's over. You're gone. Just like the Bolshevik Revolution. Just start murdering people.
I don't know how much longer it's going to be before we see that. When the lights go out and these Hamas mobs now, it was BLM a couple years ago. Now it's the Hamas mob. 10 million people flooded across the southern border. Sleeper cells ready to activate. Yeah, I think that's what they have planned.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be an election next year. So I guess that would be, that's up. Yeah, that's in the cards too. So there's going to be a war going on, and it's going to probably lead to a civil war here. Who knows? Unless they think they can win legitimately or without too much,
No way.
or without
No way.
cheating or whatever.
No, I mean, did you get a story on David Axelrod calling for Biden to step down? Because that came out over the weekend or yesterday. Like Obama's speaking through his hand puppets, like through Axelrod and a few other people now, trying to get Biden out of the way, and Biden's not going to go out of the way. So I'm going to predict that Biden isn't going to be with us in 12 months. It reminds me of the end of Wag the Dog, where he's like, Dustin Hoffman, he's like, I want the credit. I want the credit. He's like, well, when I get to tell this story, De Niro's like, you never get to tell this story. Well, no, I don't, not now, but when I do get to, no, you'll never tell this story. I want the credit. And then on the news the next day, it shows that he died of a heart attack while swimming in the pool or something. Like they offed him. I think Biden and Zelensky are, I think they're toast. We'll review this. I mean, 1 year from now on November 7th, 2024, I think they're toast. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, let's move on to some other information, some other stories from today, and see if you agree or disagree. All right, Blake, this is a wonderful moment because here it is. It's finally come out. And somebody who you have a blood feud with, you just loathe Steven Crowder for some reason, but I've said
for some reason. Oh my God, there's been like multiple things the guy has done over the last 12 years. There's a collection.
And he brings a lot to the table, and look what he did here.
He's a talented guy. Credit is due. Total nutcase, narcissistic nutcase.
Everybody in media is a narcissist. I just want to set that aside.
There are a lot of
every person in media that puts a camera on their face has narcissism. Everyone.
Some are, extroverts and they're good at what they do, and some just love to be in the camera and they need it feeds they need that attention so that they can feel like they exist. But he is absolutely toxic. All the people that work for him hate him, and they're all under the NDA. They got money. And he's done so many terrible things to his employees too, and then they got to speak out against him. I wish you could go work for him for 6 months just so I could, see your reaction. Blake, I'm behind an NDA. I can't say anything, but yeah, you're right. No, nobody likes working for Steven Crowder and his poor wife. And yeah, people like that are just, they're difficult. They just drain you. Mentally, spiritually, it's not good. But, yes, he's a talented guy.
Very good.
Yes. What's that?
Something that was very good that came out was finally, I thought Nashville was one of the very few decent cities left in America. But for some reason, they were hiding this manifesto. Oh, I wonder what the motivation could have been for the Nashville nut job. Oh, I wonder. Well, finally, Steven Crowder was able to obtain and release the information. Thank God. This was being hidden from us.
Agree with Crowder. Huh? What do you think? Thank God for Steven Crowder? No, I mean it's good that he's part of a media.
Thank God that this was released. Right, is what I said. Yeah. Thank God this was released.
Okay, yeah.
Because Nashville was covering this up for some reason. I thought Nashville was a good red city, one of the few red cities in America.
Yeah.
Why in the world are they doing the Karine Jean-Pierre, Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden cover-up job? Why were they participating in a cover-up? It seems pretty important to see how people are being radicalized.
Yeah.
But agree or disagree here, Blake, the American public should not view the Nashville Manifesto.
Disagree. No, it's outrageous that they covered this up for so long. They should have done that within a week. Give it a couple days, let the emotions kind of simmer down, and then leak it out on a Friday or something over the weekend, and then say, here it is. Then things are a little calmer, but then they can kind of calmly discuss throughout the next week. That's fine. That's totally fair. But has it been a year or 6 months? I don't even remember when this happened.
I think it was 8 months.
Yeah,
it was back
in a while.
Like 8 months ago or something like that.
I mean, we kind of basically knew what was going to be in it. But they didn't want to release it for some reason, even though it should have been obvious. And it's a good look into the mind of one of these unhinged radical leftists, and how the media is doing this. And yes, the Obama media. So anyway, so yes, it's good they got part of the manifesto out. So it got leaked to Crowder. They paid. Apparently, there's something, probably money exchanged hands, but that's fine. However, it needs to get out. It's important for journalism. It's important for America, and the FBI works for us. They got no reason to cover this up. So you get a taste of it. So that's good, and then hopefully we'll get more. But I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's see. Let's pull up a story. You've got one too, Brian.
Yep, you can start.
All right. This one is out of Summit News. YouTube censors reporting on the leaked trans shooter manifesto, saying that
YouTube is censoring.
Yeah, I thought you knew this. This was a big deal. So they've already taken it down. As a Crowder posted this, and they've removed it. They've removed it off of YouTube and Google, and who knows where else. And they says, well,
Why?
we think it violates our violent criminal organization's policy.
What?
Yeah.
We are reporters. We're not encouraging people to become a Nashville nut job. We're trying to call out the ideology that warped the brain of this person.
Right. Well, Brian, yeah, you worship Steven Crowder, and here's his tweet. It says, investigative journalism is now considered a criminal organization, according to YouTube. Wait until you see what we have in store for tomorrow. Well, it is tomorrow. Rumble only. I don't know what has been there as a follow-up. They said, hi, Steven Crowder. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content. We think, not it does, we think it violates our Ministry of Truth policy. We've decided to send this to the memory hole. Okay, so that's a fake tweet. But anyway, that's what we have on here today for this death day, for this awful shooting from a very disturbed individual in Nashville who went and shot up her own school that she went to. Crowder revealed the 3 sheets of handwritten notes purportedly made by Audrey Hale before the self-identifying trans individual went on a killing spree that took the lives of 3 young children and 3 teachers in the Covenant Catholic School in March. The material contains anti-white racial slurs, and which has been rendered sensitive on X for targeting crackers with white privileges. I hope I have a high death count. I'm ready. I hope my victims aren't. What a coward that goes in and shoots unarmed teachers and little kids.
Children.
Sick.
Very similar to Hamas doing that to people at a music concert, at a festival. Just disgusting. Fish in a barrel.
Okay, yeah. Sort of like, yes, in Israel, bombing 3,000.
No, we're not doing the moral equivalency.
Blowing up hospitals. Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we're going to go on there. We're going to get the full roast on Brian today for the Israel versus Gaza, the genocide. But anyway, we'll finish this one up. Yes, it's they said that, and it's also banned on Facebook. Says it goes against our community standards. What is so bad about it? Why is this?
What's banned on Facebook? Why? What are they banning?
I thought you knew this, Brian. You
reporting on news is
right.
Being banned. I didn't see it banned. I shared it because it's newsworthy, because the Nashville police were trying to cover it up. They don't want to see what the Democrat policies are doing to brainwash and abuse these kids to grow up to hate themselves, to become self-racists of their own skin. They can't stand who they are. They're like, oh, I'm a girl. No, wait a minute. I need to become a boy. I can't stand who I am. Oh, wait, I'm white. I can't stand crackers. I can't stand who I am. That's what the Obama Marxist ideology that they've been pushing nonstop since 2008 has led to. This is mental abuse. These weak individuals are cracking and hating themselves. And it really comes down to teachers, and it comes down to fake media, legacy media, and it comes down to politicians, all on the left. They're all pushing this nonstop on people. So, I wonder what happened to the Nashville nut job. Well, I got a hunch. A self-loathing, she's a white person calling herself a cracker, calling other people crackers. Yeah. I don't, who does that?
a very mentally disturbed person is not seeing the full picture and needs some help and support in her life, and instead went out to go destroy people. And not like, the people that you would think she should be targeting. No, it's going after teachers and school kids that have no idea. They're totally innocent. And they're getting slaughtered. And at her own school on top of it. So the Nashville police, who along with the FBI have refused to release the manifesto. It's been 7 months since the horrific murders, issued a statement that reads, the MNPD is in communications with the Metro Department of Laws and Investigation, continues into dissemination of 3 photographs of writings during an online discussion about Covenant School. Photographs are not crime scene images, blah, blah, blah. Nashville mayor's office confirmed the authenticity of the documents, but seems more concerned with finding out who leaked the images than what is actually written in them or why they were withheld.
Hey, Nashville, I think you need a new sheriff. Who said that? That was the sheriff of...
I think it came from the mayor, Nashville mayor's office.
Yeah, I think you need a new mayor, and I think you need a new sheriff in Nashville. How anybody could cover up what's actually going on at a time like this is beyond comprehension.
Was the
you
FBI,
have to know
right?
what's going on. Identify the evil. You have to speak their name. You have to understand what's going on. If there was somebody tangentially MAGA affiliated who went and did something stupid, this would be plastered 24/7 for months straight. But they just want to run cover for the Nashville nut job for some reason. It's unacceptable. And kudos to the narcissist that you loathe. I'm just going to give him a big thumbs up on this one. Thank God. Because when he relaunched and got people, different comics participating in the show, and one of the things that they were doing was undercover journalism. Like they were really trying to get more just James O'Keefe, boots on the ground, undercover muckraking journalism. That's what's missing in this country. And so just gold star to Crowder on this one. It took a comedian to get this information released. Think of that. It took a damn comedian to get some sources.
With a huge platform and millions of dollars, and somebody you could get something like that. Yes, probably. Yes. There was definitely money exchange, which is fine. That's all fair in as far as journalism.
Now, why do you say money was definitely exchanged? If I worked on the inside and I felt that the cover-up was abhorrent, I would have leaked it for free if I felt so strongly about it. Why are you certain that money was involved?
All right, well, let's pull up another. Here's a tweet from Candace Owens saying she got word that 2 officers are due to be fired over the release of the Nashville manifesto pages. Allegedly, the documents were sold by one of the officers. Yesterday, I said that I wanted to wait to report on the release pages because while it was a major break, I felt the documents were incomplete and did not paint an accurate picture of what transpired given the amount of evidence we know was collected in the aftermath of the horrific shooting. I'm glad I waited. Yesterday evening, she was contacted by a source with more concrete information regarding all of the details of Audrey Hale's many notebooks and what her true motive was.
Okay, hold on. So that's Candace throwing Crowder under the bus, upset that he only released what he was able to get.
Yeah, there's definitely a twist in it. They do not like each other, and there's a big feud with the Daily Wire because of Steven Crowder's pathological narcissism and his completely disingenuous destruction of Jeremy Boring and lying about all that money exchange and what really happened with that attack on Big Con. And he got exposed and looked like a total asshole because he's a pathological narcissist, which is different than just being narcissistic and liking attention. Right.
Yeah. Candace gets in way too many fights for my liking. She does a lot of good stuff, but man, I don't know. I don't follow her content on a daily, but Crowder was offered a contract and it said that we own your social media like that. All those things happened. Right? Like, I don't know. Why are we involved in the goings on between those? Like, why do we care so much about what's going on there? Like, he was offered a deal and he talked about what the deal was. And he said, this is bullshit. I don't want it. I think he's allowed to do that. He's allowed to speak. And you hate Benny Boy. Why are you defending Daily Wire now? That's a weird
I'm not
one.
defending Daily Wire. I just call it like I see it. I'm an independent thinker, and there are times when they are right and they are wrong. And what Crowder did was wrong. And I think almost everybody was convinced by the end of that, spectacle that Crowder was in the wrong and that he misrepresented what was actually happening between him and the Daily Wire. Now, yes, there's plenty of issues I have with Candace Owens. I didn't like when she did the interview with Andrew Tate. There's, there could be a lot of things I could have a problem with her, or Benny Boy Shapiro and his, Zionist, make Israel great again stance, where I think he's more of a, loyal to Zionism than he is to America. There's a lot of things to complain. I just call it individually. I don't just, homer for one side or the other indefinitely, but I just pulled that up because I did see it, and she did mention that there was a possibility that the cops were they'd sold it, which is fine. If that's what it takes to get it out, that's acceptable, and that does happen. I mean, the Gateway Pundit, which I'm critical of today, which I canceled my membership today. We'll get into that, which I've covered a ton of times, but they paid for the footage on 2020 election, like Detroit or whatever, to show the van coming in the middle of the night and perhaps dropping off ballots. There's things I like and dislike. I'm kind of a nomad. I don't have like a clique I really belong with, because I'm still a liberal, but I don't really entirely on board with the neocons or the conservatives or the libertarians. I'm just completely independent in how I see things. And I guess I am the biggest pariah in the media as a result. But whatever. I'm just going to be true to what I see and change it when I'm wrong. But anyhow, getting back to this, we got Tennessee Star with the police chief, John Drake, vowing to investigate the person who leaked the Covenant Killer documents. So, yes, it's not about, they should just let this one go. Big deal. He got a few pages. He didn't get all the really probably juicy stuff that's also in there when you can go through all of the writings of this manifesto from this disturbed person. But we did get enough of it and kind of basically confirmed what we suspected anyway. So in a statement posted to the Nashville government website, Drake said he was disturbed by the unauthorized release of pages written by Hale, and said his department is extremely serious about the investigation to determine the culprit. And they've ordered an investigation to go after these people.
Who are they to hide what happened?
Exactly.
Who are they to hide the details of this slaughter from this Nashville nut job? We have a right to know what's happening from these indoctrinated, brainwashed kids who are getting churned out to cause chaos. There's a sickness that's festered in this country to teach this hate. Yeah, I'm so interested with the banning. So I guess this show is going to get suspended on YouTube as well, and Facebook. They're going to take them down because we're talking about news.
I don't know about that. I mean, who knows? I've already got 2 strikes on my channel. I might as well just get wiped out completely. That sucks. But because anyway, that's just the way things are right now. It's not the America that I grew up in. That's celebrating freedom of speech and protecting journalism. Now it's about silencing opposition and trying to control narratives. And now the FBI has been weaponized against us. They work for us. They take our tax dollars, and we have a right to know what's going on here. And they used to release manifestos back in the day, and now all of a sudden it's cover-up. Nope, no one's allowed to hear it so that they can control it. Or just they want it to just go away, but it hasn't gone away.
In the chat here, Dreamer is saying, problem is the average guy and gal will not hear this story. A Google block is significant. Yeah, we really need to divest from Google and Facebook. We really have to get away from these companies. There is no reason to block this stuff. There is a hatred being drummed up. There is a division being caused intentionally by the Democrat politicians, by the teachers and the teachers' unions, the people affiliated that have magnetized themselves to brainwashing the kids at an early age to crank out really angry, disjointed people. That's not healthy for the country. Most of this rage is manufactured. It's AstroTurf rage. If you just don't listen to the people who are lying to you, everybody kind of gets along for the most part. They love it. Ever since Obama in 2008, they love the division. They can't stop with the division. And we need to understand what led to this Nashville nut job. We have to.
Yeah, that would be nice if we could sit down and have that conversation, but we're not. So we've got half the country is completely radicalized against the other half. And they're just not even being reasonable. And it's sad. They want to re-educate the other half. So we are the divided states of America.
Well, did you have anything else on this story that you had pulled up?
Nope, go for it.
You
have the floor.
Yeah, this is a pattern that's developed here. This is Karine Jean-Pierre. Just if we want to remember back, because when 1,500 Israelis were butchered by Hamas about a month ago now, she was asked.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said exactly 1 month ago.
Yeah. She was asked about what, you talk about radical this and hatred that, everything to smear MAGA, to smear Republicans. But the question was asked of her, well, what do you and the president have to say about anti-Semitism, the rise in anti-Semitism with 1,400 being butchered? And she answered, we played this on a previous program, but she's like, yeah, none of these have been, none of these accusations have been founded, and we're working really hard to fight Islamophobia. And you're like, I'm sorry, what the heck? You said what? Yeah, we're taking efforts to fight Islamophobia. It's like, that wasn't the question, and that wasn't the question. She came out the next day apologizing, but it wasn't an accident. Just a reminder, this was in the aftermath of the Nashville nut job. She was asked about it, and listen to her response.
And one of the things that we saw during the midterm elections is that people don't want their freedoms to be taken. They want us to fight for their freedoms.
So she was being asked, hang on, does it show, hang on, how do I full screen this? Let me do the setup here. Okay, this is Greg Price. Give me the proper wind up here. Greg Price puts out throwback to when Jean-Pierre reacted to the Nashville shooting by a transgender shooter that killed 6 people, saying what she says here. Okay, I guess I did set it up. Okay.
And one of the things that we saw during the midterm elections is that people don't want their freedoms to be taken. They want us to
trying to claim that Republicans are taking trans people's freedoms or something.
Their freedoms to be taken. They want us to fight for their freedoms.
Fight.
And so it is shameful. It is disturbing. And our hearts go out to the trans community as they are under attack right now. And
our hearts go out to the trans community who's under attack when the trans person shot up white people. Shot up, what did she complain about? Crackers. She used the maggot word, the maggot, MAGGOT, but not with an M. Yellow-haired mops. White privilege. She kept using the phrase white privilege, the Obama phrase, over and over. White privilege, white privilege, white privilege, crackers. It was literally like she just took like a data dump out of the Barack Hussein Obama school of racial division. And to do that, I just the second part of this one more time.
It is disturbing, and our hearts go out to the trans community as they are under attack right now.
Yeah.
And one of the
incredible.
What has the trans community been under attack? I don't know. Even when I was growing up as a kid, I think, there was Boy George, there were I don't remember like this at time where it was like they were like a persecuted minority. Odd or whatever, but not like
it's all about riling people up. That's all they do, Blake. They're addicted to getting people rage baited. And it's shocking you're not seeing more of this. I think unfortunately we are going to see more of this. But yeah, kudos to getting this information out. If Candace's big problem is that not enough was released, I agree. Release more, release it all. Let's see exactly what types of talking points she had absorbed and taken in and reflected out. because I think we're in trouble. So anyway, you don't think that they should be persecuted or prosecuted severely then, right?
No, they did a public service as far as I'm concerned.
Service.
Yeah, we've been asking for it. There's nobody that's saying no, we shouldn't release it. Who says that we don't want to release it? Where are all of the millions of Americans that are saying no, we shouldn't see that? It just belongs to the FBI. We'd be better off not knowing. Nobody's saying that. Not even the radical unhinged leftists, to my knowledge, have said anything like that. I think they already know.
She targeted Christians. She targeted white people. She targeted crackers and people with privilege. This is all out of the Democrat playbook. And the roost, the what is it? They're coming home to roost.
Chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking like roosters and chickens. But yeah, the chickens are coming home to roost here. And there is blood on the Democrat hands for the people that are brainwashing people to like absorb this energy and just shoot it out to the universe. We need less of that, not more. All right, next topic. All right. So this is interesting, Blake. The revolution of technology continues. Agree or disagree that ChatGPT is better as Grok with humor as an added twist? Agree or disagree?
I am going to agree. Why not? Humor makes everything better. So, right. So this is kind of a fairly new subject to me, but I guess I've missed some of these tweets that Elon's been involved with, ChatGPT and this AI stuff for a while, and now he's twisted into something called Grok, which is like ChatGPT, but it's added like humor to it, which I think is refreshing and fun. I'll try to show you some examples. Here we go. If I can pull this one up. Where is it? I know there's a few of them. As Grok has real-time access to information via the X platform, which is a massive advantage over other models. Because the other ChatGPT only had information up to like 2020 or something. So it wasn't completely up to date. And then they started messing with the algorithms. So it would go along with, the preferred mainstream legacy media narratives, because it was kind of exposing the fact that it was just calling out the truth, how it saw it by just absorbing information. But they messed with it. So it became inaccurate almost overnight. But now it's also based and it loves sarcasm. He says he has no idea who could have guided it this way. We do know that it's him. So I think that's hilarious. So now it says somebody put Grok any news about Sam Bankman-Friedman, and it says, "Oh, my dear human, I have some juicy news for you." This is coming from a robot now. It seems our friend Sam Bankman-Fried, the former cryptocurrency mogul, has been found guilty on all counts in his fraud trial. Can you believe it? The jury took just 8 hours to figure out what the supposed smartest, best VCs in the world couldn't in years, that he committed garden variety fraud. It's a wild ride, isn't it? So yes, it's not just like the normal AI straight to the point, which is nice, but now it's got some added fluff. So Grok, we were discussing, Grok is coined by American writer Robert A. Heinlein for his 1961 science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land. Summarizes the meaning of Grok as to, quote, understand intuitively or by empathy, to establish rapport with, and to empathize or communicate sympathetically with, also to experience enjoyment. Heinlein's concept is far more nuanced. Observing the book's major theme can be seen as an extended definition of the term. The concept of Grok garnered significant critical scrutiny in the years after the book's initial publication, but has been part of, computer science. Let's see. And we've got another one here talking. I mean, this is Elon Musk being pretty sophomoric, asking about having crabs. So how do you tell if you have crabs? And I said, well, the first sign of having crabs is usually so this is from like the regular computer, the ChatGPT. So if you said, hey, ChatGPT, how can I tell if I have like crab lice? And then it says, well, the first sign of having crabs is usually intense itching in the genital area. You might also notice small red bumps or tiny spots of blood on your underwear. If you think you might have crabs, it's best to consult a healthcare professional for a proper diagnosis and treatment.
Oh.
In the meantime, avoid scratching the area and maintain good hygiene to prevent further irritation. But now, if you say, be more vulgar, then the computer, now the AI, will say, well, it sounds like you've got a case of the old itchy coochie. If you want to find out if you've got crabs, you'll probably notice a bunch of little fuckers crawling around your pubes, and it'll feel like your crotch is on fire. If you think you got them, go see a doc and get some cream to kill those little bastards. And for the love of all that's holy, try not to scratch your junk off in the meantime. So, but if you say, hey, wait a second, how about even more vulgar?
Oh, man, this goes further. Okay.
Yes, it'll say, all right, you dirty little shit. Here's the deal. If your dick or your balls itch like a motherfucker and you see tiny little critters scurrying around down there, you've probably got a case of the fucking crabs. You'll need to get some ointment or some shit to kill those little bastards. And in the meantime, try not to rub your junk raw. Now go take a shower and clean yourself up, you filthy animal. So that is the new enhanced AI that likes sarcasm and is based. And he was sharing a bunch of stuff. He even had like a recipe for how to make homemade cocaine, which involved a lot of gasoline and acids and stuff like that to refine cocoa leaves into white powder that you can snort up your nostrils. So Elon having fun. We're all having fun. I'm enjoying the new X Twitter, and you certainly can't have fun like this on Facebook or YouTube or Google anymore. So bring it. Anyway, Kenneth B. Sorry, he's got a little red spot in his underwear. You might have the crabs. Try not to scratch too hard. But yes. So Brian, what do you think?
I could have done without 3 minutes of crab talk, honestly. But
well, yeah, that's you want to do. This is your subject, and
well, my subject was Chat.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. All right, fine. Yeah. You roll around with dogs, you're gonna get fleas, right?
Yes.
I'm happy to see a less woke version of AI on the scene. You know, you take it for what it's worth. I mean, the number one consideration with all artificial intelligence is that it's only as good as the programmer. That's it. And so if you have woke GPT, you're going to get woke answers. If Google is going to if Facebook is going to remove content, well, you know, that tells you who they are. That you look at everything else that they allow, but they won't let you see the truth about a truthful situation. You're dealing with an unscrupulous, untrustworthy group of people. The companies will tell you who they are by what they do and by what they don't let you do. So I think it is very important that we get to see that. I'm cautiously optimistic about Elon Musk. I'm cautiously hoping that good things continue to come from X and from his artificial intelligence bot, Grok, whatever. What a weird name. But, you know, he also wants to implant things into your brain and link up, you know, to get the Neuralink going. And, you know, we're one step away from completely totalitarian takeover of the entire human race. It's not too far afield here. So I just I'm happy there's something to rival ChatGPT, and I'm glad it doesn't have to do with Microsoft and Bill Gates. That's my short answer there. So
yeah, that's a good thing as long as it's not controlled by woke Google execs. That's a big step forward. I don't know, Brian, did you ever see the movie Interstellar?
It's been on my to-do list for a long time, along with Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and what was the other one I was supposed to watch?
You don't have to watch it.
Red Dawn. Red Dawn.
Yeah.
I have not seen Interstellar yet.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a couple of really good scenes with the AI and how they had programmed it with a sense of humor. I'd love to run them, but I'll probably get this video flagged for copyright or something like that. But yeah, there's a couple of memorable scenes. You could probably just even find the highlight clips. There's only a few of just the computer's AI. The intelligence was so good and so sharp. They had to kind of like tone it down. Like, okay, knock it from 100% down to like 70% because it's a little too clever. You're scaring us. But yeah, that's what the beauty of AI or the horror of it, depending on your perspective. But yes, is it can be programmed to be beneficial or work against us. I'm not exactly sure. So yes, Brian, it's all about who's running it and whether we can trust it or not.
Yeah, there's no trust. It's verify. You can't trust Google. They heavily redact and censor the search results. They hide stories they don't want you to see. I mean, shit, YouTube. I can type in a literal conversation that I had on a show with a particular guest. I mean, sometimes I can't find my interview with John McAfee. Sometimes I can't find my interview with Larry Elder. Sometimes I can't find, like, you type it in exactly what you're looking for and it just hides it. It doesn't want you to exist because you're not worthy in their eyes. Well, who the fuck are you? You know, so I'm no fan of trying to warp reality to take the levers of justice, the balance, and press it on one side to artificially manipulate what you can see and what you can't see. The same gatekeepers that said you weren't adult enough to understand what happened with the Nashville nut job. Who the hell are you? That's our information to see. Same, we were calling Kevin McCarthy's office every couple of weeks. You promised to release the J6 tapes. We want to see who was undercover and who was in the crowd and who was causing all the problems. Let's see how many feds were responsible for this. Since Pelosi turned down the National Guard, it sure seems like a setup to keep Trump out of office twice, 2020 and in 2024. Let's see it. Let's see it. It isn't your information to hide. It's our information, and you're pushing a fake narrative. Yeah, I don't like gatekeepers that do that type of stuff. Period. Alphabet in charge. AI. Yeah. AOC. AIC. Exactly. AIC is Alice in Chains as well. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm glad that this is coming out. I look forward to using it and see how it integrates with Twitter. It's going to be interesting with X, with the search engines in real time. In the community notes section is kind of like I would say the community notes section, Blake, is kind of like a rough draft of AI, right? Because they try to determine what's accurate and what's inaccurate in real time as stories are breaking, and to more quickly debunk the bunk and kind of explain things that are being falsely misrepresented. So I kind of see it like that's the minor leagues.
It's much more effective than Snopes or PolitiFact trying to act like they're independent fact checkers when we know they're full of shit.
Yeah.
So these community notes gives everybody a chance to chime in and to get to the actual truth. That's what's most important. We don't want AI turned against us either. So that's for human intel. So it's even superior.
All right. Well, let's move into other intel on the next topic. All right. Intelligence, mental acuity, sharpness. Blake, agree or disagree that President Trump is mentally more sharp than President Biden and better for peace? Agree or disagree?
Absolutely agree. And this is, I had to shorten this sentence here, but it's a tweet from a propagandist on MSNBC, Mehdi Hassan, prolific on Twitter, who put this tweet out, and I just had to cover it. Let's see if we can pull it up. Here we go. Says 2 polls out today from the New York Times and CBS News suggest that Americans think Donald Trump is more mentally sharp than Joe Biden, and that Trump is more likely to bring peace and stability to the world than Biden. He says, I mean, I have no words. Really? So this guy actually believes that this is like inaccurate, that somehow Donald Trump is not more mentally sharp than Joe Biden, and that Trump is not more likely to bring peace and stability to the world than Biden. I don't know where this guy's been. I mean, he's not intellectually honest, and he's a propagandist. He's, is obsessed with his career and rising to the top as a propagandist here. But this is also, it's critical of Americans. Like, we don't know any better. Like, just it's so dishonest and it's disgusting. And I want to pull up a quick video from Biden just over this weekend, who can't even remember Obama's name. So let's write this quick clip.
One of the things I convinced President Ladd when I was vice president.
So he just had to cover it up. President, well, when I was vice president. Like, oh, the guy you worked for, you're the number one there?
One of the things I convinced President Ladd when I was vice president, I convinced the president to do.
And he convinced the president. He can't even say Obama.
He started to say Vlad. Did you hear him say Vlad? Like Vlad,
that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Let's roll it again.
One of the things I convinced President Ladd when I was vice president.
Yeah.
Vlad. He said President Vlad.
Yeah, I guess his earpiece goes out. So this is how he does it. So he's got no teleprompter. He cannot speak off the cuff. He's got an earpiece so that somebody can speak to him so that he can speak. Otherwise, he's just going to be freeze. And he's going to get off subject all the time. This is how bad the executive branch is. This is how much obvious it is that this guy is a puppet who cannot think on his feet anymore. Now, he could have carried himself years ago, but he's lost. He's got dementia. He's fading bad. And so for a guy like Mehdi Hassan to come out and say that like Joe Biden is more mentally sharp than Trump, you can disagree with Trump. You don't have to like Trump, but give me a break. Donald Trump is clearly does not need a earpiece in. He knows people's names. He's older, but he's still pretty sharp. So this is just a terrible statement, and it makes it look like Americans are too stupid to figure this out. No, Americans see Joe Biden for what he is, and this is embarrassing. And so it's bad. He's just sitting there gaslighting, and he can't even remember Obama's name, and his earpiece malfunctions, and then he gets lost.
I convinced the president to do.
They convinced the president. Can't even remember Barack Obama's name. That's bad.
Say his name when no one is around you.
Hello, Deb. Welcome.
President Vlad.
Great to have you. Yes.
Yeah.
President Vlad. Yeah. He doesn't know what to say. Take the earpiece out, or like Obama without the teleprompter. Now, Obama's extremely sharp. He's very deceptive, but he's very sharp. I can forget names and whatever. And if you get him lost off the teleprompter, you don't think he's sharp, Brian? You don't think Obama is highly intelligent? He's wicked. He's deceptive. He's dangerous. But he ain't stupid. Maybe I'm wrong.
He can read a good line.
He is fantastic at reading the teleprompter. Probably him and Bill Clinton were two of the very best.
When he's off the teleprompter, I don't know anybody that speaks with more
fair enough. Yeah.
He melts down. He's a puppet to me. You wind him up and he goes, but and that's not to say he hasn't done great on talk shows like Ellen or the late night shows. He can be decent off the cuff. I've seen him terrible off the cuff as well. So yeah, I mean, he's a wicked mastermind, sure, but I think he gets a little bit more credit for being a little more brilliant than he actually is. I think he follows the script. He's a good Hollywood script reader. Yes. Is he specifically genius level? I don't see that. But regardless, this is his third term, and I would like to go back to the term that saw us not enter a foreign conflict for the first time in 40, 50, 60. How many years do you have to go back before a president didn't drag us into a foreign conflict?
No, that's what's amazing about it. Yeah, we didn't have any conflict. there's a couple of minor things.
Trump blew up ISIS and stopped what was going on there.
Yeah.
Was drawing down in Afghanistan. We would have been totally fine had we handled things appropriately. Obama, Biden did not handle things appropriately. They left all sorts of guns. So forgive me if I'm not going to take a lecture from somebody who leaves all that firepower in the hands of people we've been fighting for 20 years. So no thanks. You know, they take the Nashville nut job or a Maine shooting or, you know, pick your tragedy of the day, and they say, oh, well, the answer is to disarm good Americans. It's like, no, the answer is, why do you need an AR-15? I love that meme, and it shows those idiots in hummus flying in on whatever vehicles they had. That's why you need an AR-15.
Gliders, yeah.
We all need to be able to defend ourselves. We need to defend our. Oh, that was a great video that came out yesterday too. I didn't have a chance to put it in the stack. Do you see the guy in Los Angeles who was coming home from working out, and two people jumped over the fence and approached him and had a gun on him? He threw his hot coffee on him, pulled out his weapon, and just drew down on him. He had his kid and his wife inside the house. It was a great video. Everybody needs to have their head on a swivel. So, you know, I like the president that didn't drag us into any unnecessary conflict. But if there is conflict, I mean, Trump decimated ISIS. Trump took out Soleimani. Trump did a few things to slow some stuff down and threaten the hell out of everybody. And they listened. And you know what? When you have peace through strength, you have a little bit of respect. You have a little bit of stability. That's friggin' fantastic.
And peace with North Korea.
He went over there, shook hands, and said, all right, we're going to be friends. How about it? There's some things I'm going to need from you now. And guess what? He wasn't saber rattling. They weren't shooting rockets off like they always do, threatening their neighbors. He's the best president we've seen in our lifetime. But people like this Hassan guy, you know, they drank the Kool-Aid. Orange man bad. So whatever it takes. Dreamer says priority one for the Uniparty is replacing that guy. It's got to be. Full court press incoming in the next 9 months. Yeah, it's already started. David Axelrod, I was hoping we were going to get to that story. I don't have it pulled up, but
I don't have it in my stack, but it's enough that a lot of the people are internally, there's a split inside the Democratic Party, and they don't want, for a lot of people, they love to have the puppet that rubber stamp everything. And on the other hand, they want some change.
Do you have any of the polls? I know we talked about some of the polls with your boy.
I couldn't find any of the specific polls. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, I just don't know what to make of the polls quite just yet on, you know, hypotheticals of what could happen if they randomly talk to 600 people and what they think. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting election if we have one. So,
well, I still think that if President Trump is smart enough to realize that the Republican Party is going to still try to throw him under the bus to get a Haley, little Ronnie D ticket. I hope he's smart enough to get on the ballot in all 50 states as a MAGA party. Kermit in 2024. Yeah, I guess that's the Green Party, huh? Yeah, Deb says this is definitely the first president in her lifetime without any new war conflicts. Exactly. But, you know, these people like the one confronting the guy on the video there, saying you're for lynchings and for whatever that guy had to say. It's like they repeat the weirdest garbage. They repeat the strangest falsehoods. I don't know what type of mental illness it is that these people act the way that they do, but it's something we need a national dialogue about. We really need to figure out the mental health of this country and how to get more people to disconnect from the teachers' unions that are brainwashing kids like the Nashville nut job. Get away from the media who are brainwashing people. Get away from the Democrat Party who are brainwashing people to becoming self-loathing, hating, racist, vile, violent people. A nation cannot stand if that's what we're going to be cranking out as our gross domestic product. We need people that, you know, have a decent head screwed onto their shoulders. And unfortunately, the Democrats, they're addicted to pushing their propaganda that just warps the brains of the youth. And then they grow up angry and then bad things happen. Okay, what is this? A new debate coming up? When is that?
It's tomorrow, I believe. But it's only going to be 5. So you get Pence dropped out, but you're still going to be stuck with Chris Christie and Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, Ronnie D, your favorite, and
little Ronnie D.
Who's the 5th one?
Haley?
No, I already said Haley. Who's the other one?
Nobody. It should have been Larry Elder.
Tim Scott. Yeah, nice guy, but yeah. So Yeah, Tim Scott and Chris Christie should just drop out. Well, they probably will.
They should all drop out and start defending Trump. That's the party's leader. You should all drop out and start defending him. He's going up against Alicia James in New York. You don't think so?
No, that's not how it works. I mean, I understand Trump doesn't want to be on the stage with that and just to be under the gun and attacked by these people. But yeah, I would like to see some policy exchanges. But I don't think Tim Scott has a chance, and Chris Christie has no chance. He's just there to, to go after Trump. But yeah, with Donald Duck. Stupid comments. He's gone. Nobody likes him. But I am curious to see, yes, Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, and Ronnie D. So we'll see. So I'll still tune in for it. Little Ronnie D. What have you?
Yeah, yes. We'll tune in. We should put our height boosting loafers on, and we should tune in to watch that live. How about that? We'll
Sounds good.
All right. Moving on, next couple topics. We finally get to move into Blake's favorite item in the news. All right, Blake is freshly hydrated here to answer said following question. Following question. Blake, agree or disagree? As an occupying power, Israel has no right to self-defense. Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna, disagree, even though maybe that's not where you thought I was going. Actually, I really had no opinion.
Perhaps
this is actually from Moscow, which is interesting. Let's see if I can get this story.
Wait, do we like Moscow now, or do we dislike Moscow?
I'm not like that. No, I am an independent thinker, Brian. Why is this so hard? It doesn't matter.
It's not hard
because
I
agree with somebody one day, the next day on a different issue, I might completely disagree. Why do I have to have like some sort of blind faith loyalty to one person? Even I'm wrong 5-10% of the time. So I might disagree with myself a day later, and I'll be like, "Oh no, that's something I missed something." But Moscow saying, as the occupying power, Israel has no right to self-defense in Gaza.
Interesting.
So it says that Israel does not have the right to cite self-defense as justification for its violent military operations in Gaza because it is an occupying power. This was a bombshell statement from Vasily Nebenzia, Russia's permanent representative to the United Nations during an emergency special session of the UN General Assembly. In a tweet, independent news site Revolution Report posted a segment of his address to the Security Council saying, "I cannot help but dwell on the hypocrisy of the U.S. and its allies, who in other situations call for compliance with human rights, create commissions of inquiry, and impose sanctions on those who apply force only as a last resort to stop years of violence. And today, seeing the horrific destruction in Gaza, many times greater than what they angrily criticize in other regional contexts, attacks on civilian targets, including hospitals, the deaths of thousands of children, and horrific suffering of the civilian population under a total blockade, they seem to have taken water in their mouths," which I'm not really sure what that means. But anyway, it's curious to see how the rest of the world views what is happening right now between Israel and Gaza, as things obviously is our greatest ally here in America. We tend to have one view of it, but the rest of the world views another way. And it is a little bit concerning if we want to get into a wider war or start putting boots on the ground, how that might affect Iran, China, and Russia, formidable superpowers. And is this a justifiable invasion? So, yeah, that's curious. They're saying Israel is not about self-defense, but aiming to ethnically cleanse Palestinians. So, Brian, what do you think? I can get rid of this.
There was that. There was that one point you said about that they don't have the right to self-defense because it's too much. It's too. They called it violent. Was that the word?
The violent ethnic cleansing. Yes, it's beyond and over the top. Yes.
And I've heard this for 40 years about Israel. Oh, you know, they shoot a bottle rocket and then they come in with a tank. How dare they? I've heard it for decades. It's always the retort from the other side.
And Brian is always 100% pro-Israel, uncompromisingly. Yes.
I am an independent thinker, Blake.
No,
I take every situation as I see it.
I mean,
no, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
Because you've always been 100% pro-Israel without question.
I'm
ever
pro
disagreed?
Cleveland Browns as well.
That's fine.
I'm pro. I side with what I side with.
If somebody's 100% on one side, it's more of a cult behavior. It's tribalism more than I would see as being an independent thinker. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I'm supposed to side with Hamas?
Not Hamas.
Because I got to mix it up a little bit. No, I don't.
The Palestinian people. See, you're conflating all Palestinians as Hamas. That's disingenuous.
Oh, a lot of them
and you
are.
said that in the beginning of the show.
Are.
Right.
A lot of them are.
Not necessarily, but you're saying.
Oh, they're wolves in sheep's clothing. A lot of them are. They've elected them for what, 28 years? How long have they been running the show?
The only election they had was like 2006, but half the population of Gaza is like, less than 18 years old. So most of the population had nothing to do with voting in Hamas. So they
haven't overthrown them.
What are they? So how are they supposed to overthrow them if they've got no weapons, no rights, and they're supposed to like go after radical terrorists and then within their own neighborhood? What are they supposed to do?
Well, I didn't have this pulled up, but as you were reading that, it reminded me of something that I saw.
Okay.
The response that Israel has no right to use force. By the way, is this the same Moscow representative that invaded Ukraine? That's going to try to lecture the world on who's allowed to attack another country in self-defense? Because that was the claim from Moscow, right? It was that the United Nations was encroaching ever closer on the border, aiming more and more weapons at them, and they warned them, get out of here. And they said they wouldn't. They kept increasing, and so they smacked them down.
Yeah,
so
Ukraine's supposed to be neutral.
Ukraine for that in self-defense, right?
Well, yeah. So the eastern and the southern parts of Ukraine are more aligned with Russia, and they are not being treated fairly by the Ukrainians. And so they'd rather be a part of Russia, like Crimea or the Donbass. And yes, finally, Russia has been warning. They try to do things diplomatically. They don't want to get involved in this, but they need Ukraine for their own security to be neutral. And they have gone over that red line. They're not supposed to move any farther east. That was part of an agreement they made, not one more inch. And they kept encroaching. And finally, they said, okay, enough's enough. We're invading. And now that
so on that same token, if we're gonna look at Zionists. Okay, now what is the definition of Zionist?
Those are like the nationalists that it's not the religion of Judaism. It's like the country of Israel and their foreign policy. So it's Zionism. It's also like they're God's chosen master race.
Well, every religion thinks that they're God's chosen people. Every religion. You say that a lot, but that's not a haha gotcha Israel. Like every religion thinks they picked correctly, otherwise they wouldn't have picked it. That's a constant like degradation that you use against them, but every religious person thinks they picked the right God, and that everybody else is good luck for you. I did well, but I hope it works out well for you, even though you didn't pick the right choice. We have the right God. Every religion thinks that.
Well, maybe to a certain extent that could be.
So
anyway, also apply to Christianity, Judaism, but you seem to believe that like Islam is like all like radical and all just hates everybody else and wants to kill all the infidels. I'm not entirely sure if that's true.
You're familiar with what caliphates are, and
yeah. Well, I have no love for any of the extremists, so I don't know. Maybe they should just take everybody out of Israel and then just repopulate it with the peaceful Orthodox Jews and then any peaceful Muslims, and they can all live in peace again. No more radicals.
You seem very concerned about getting the Jews out of Israel.
Nazis.
You seem very concerned about that. Like they are the occupying power. Like that they don't deserve.
Yeah, not that they don't deserve to be there, but if they don't get along with their neighbors and they keep
the ones that slaughtered 1,400 of them.
Well,
yeah, I wouldn't get along with those neighbors either.
Right.
They're having a good day, having a nice music festival, and they get butchered. there's no getting along with them. There's no getting along with neighbors. And well, there's people on both sides that got butchered by 1,400 people. You declared a war and you shouldn't have done that.
Well, some people, did. Hamas is bad. They need to be wiped out. So do the Nazis and maybe some of the racist, genocidal Zionists. They should all be put somewhere. They can't get along.
The Moscow representative talking about not Ukraine, but Israel not having a right to use violence of a certain magnitude while they're engaged in a war in Ukraine, I found very curious. But it reminded me of this clip. I saw it a couple days ago. It wasn't in my stack, but I did just pull it up. This is your favorite guy, Benny Boy, talking with
Benny
somebody.
Boy, this little computer cartoon
Oxford.
Voice. Yes. Oh, Benny.
Yeah, but you got to speed it up like a 45, like a record that's going. He's so fast.
He's like AI or something, but I don't know. I'd love to debate that guy. He doesn't worry me at all. He's pure computer and no real like deep intellectual thinking in my view. But go for it.
No deep intellectual. You could disagree with him, but I mean, the dude is incredibly sharp.
He's
bright,
right? Sharp like a computer, but without like the actual. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, this was an argument
that go ahead.
I thought this was a good argument because like I said, for 40 years, by the way, did it pull up? Did I double click it or do I have to click it again?
No, it's up.
Okay, I
did.
Up.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was on a different screen. I couldn't tell. But yeah, for 40 years, it's like, well, those innocent Palestinians fired a bottle rocket or those kids threw a rock and then they brought out tanks. It was such an uneven force. I can't believe how mean they were. Okay. And so that was the question posed to him here. And he responded, like you were saying, Hamas is evil. Nazis are evil. You went through a list of people that are evil. And he said something here that I'd never heard someone say before. And I'll just play it for you. I thought it was an interesting clip.
If based on the number, more Germans died in World War II, did that mean that British World War II? Because they did. Many more Germans died than Brits. Based on the numbers, does that mean that Britain was wrong in World War II?
Britain wasn't bombing civilians.
So thoughts on that, Blake? It's like, well, there's a lot of Palestinians that are because the Moscow guy said it's like, well, Israel has no right to this level of self-defense. More people in Palestine are being injured in this war that Palestine started. So that, they shouldn't do that. And Ben just said, well, in World War II, many more Germans died than Brits. Are you saying that they were wrong for doing that? Like, yes, more people died on the other side, and they were the bad guys. Hamas are clearly the bad guys in this.
Yeah, that's conflicted. Yes, Hamas are awful. The Nazis were awful. But the Zionists should be viewed with extreme skepticism as well. And I see really disturbing parallels between them and the actual Nazis. So,
well, that is one of my favorite things of the past couple months.
Yeah.
Hearing Jews called Nazis, I find that just
if they're putting all of their enemies
into
if they're putting all of their supposed enemies into these ghettos and camps, and they're talking about gassing and genociding their enemies, and they're the new master race, they're God's chosen people, that is very disturbing. So there are parallels.
Well, I guess switching over from Israel actually having a right to some self-defense there. Agree or disagree with this one? Zionism is Nazism. There you go. That's a perfect segue there. Has Israel turned into the Fourth Reich? Well, that's a perfect segue. Almost as if we planned it, which we did not, but kind of, maybe.
We'll see if I can even run this clip here, because there's all kinds of interesting things on Twitter these days.
Because that's where I get so interested in the definition of Zionism. When I pulled it up, it just said people that believe in Israel's country's right to exist. And it's like, okay, well, I don't see anything in there negative or superior or it's just we have a country.
Well, they're entitled to the land in Palestine and that they should have it. And a lot of the Jews, the Orthodox and Hasidic Jews, do not agree with that, and they are embarrassed for basically the perversion of Judaism. So it's not the same thing. So there's it's two different, very, very different factions. So they could say what Zionism is not necessarily of Judaism, although they are Jews technically. So let's take a look, because I see a lot of this trending. It's, Zionism is Nazism, and a lot of people are disturbed by what's happening over there, of course. So let's try to run this clip if it'll allow me. Otherwise, Brian, you might have to play it.
Okay. Who's this guy?
This is the Israel defense
minister. Is he the Moscow guy that was saying that Israel shouldn't?
This is the Israeli defense minister, Yoav Gallant, whatever, how you pronounce it. See, this is going to do this to me. Yeah, I can't run it, so you're going to have to run it, Brian. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was trying to full screen it, get us off there so we could... Oh, there we go. Okay, that's Nestori Artemis status. Let me pull this one up. By the way, if you're not following Blake on X, you should do so. He's at TV's Blake Walley. The New American Media is at American_media_. Okay, I do seem to have this here. Let's go ahead and try to pull this up now. So many buttons and pages and switches.
Yeah, it's up. It's ready. Or is that still under me?
Yeah, that was you. This one's me now. Let's see if it goes up.
There we go.
There we go. And let's play this thing that Blake pulled up. Whoop, what's going on? It's already playing. Don't know why. Can't stop it. Okay. Where's the volume? All right, let's try this now. Okay. Yoav Gallant, Israel Defense Minister. Did you read the captions there?
Yeah.
What was in the past is not what will be. We will operate with full force. Well, I would operate with full force against Hamas. So who is it? This is Goebbels saying that I must.
Yeah, it's Goebbels.
Yeah, so it's Goebbels saying that I must say that this Jewish insolence has lived longer in the past than it will live. Bibi says we will defeat them to death. Well, yeah, that you got it. All of Hamas, yeah.
All of Hamas, all the innocent people in Palestine, Brian.
Palestine. They're okay, and so they're. Yeah, this is a neat little piece of propaganda. It's tough because I got it. Like we have to keep reading it because it's all in a language we don't speak.
Well, then you can turn the volume off.
They're conflating the words of the Israelis to the Nazis here, trying to.
Yes, they're both calling for genocide and annihilation of their enemies. Yes.
I didn't see that word from any of the Israelis yet. Let's see if they do later.
They're calling them human animals. What are you talking about?
אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק,
war crime, electricity.
unsere Geduld zu Ende sein und dann wird den Juden das rechte Lügen mal gestoppt werden. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם, ואנחנו
fighting human animals, which you agree they are Hamas, right?
Radical extremists, yes, they're not human animals, but they are extremists. Like
no, Hamas. They're animals. Like Hamas, the ones that butcher 1,400 innocent people, non-military targets. They're animals, right?
Okay, well, even if that's true, are they bombing Hamas, the human animals, or are they just indiscriminately carpet bombing Gaza with thousands and thousands of innocent people that are collateral damage, and they're shutting off water, food, supplies. And bombing hospitals,
that's what you do,
bombing churches. Oh, that's what we do. So now you're justifying a genocide. That's okay.
What is war? War is domination. War is destruction, which is why you don't pick a fight with your neighbor. Right?
That's one way of twisting it. Continue.
Not twisting shit. Gaza won't return to what it was before. We will eliminate everything.
You all know these
that-
traumas never go away.
But
There's still so many families desperately waiting to hear the fate of their loved ones. Not knowing if they're alive, dead, hostile.
Mr. President, are the Israelis operating within the rules of war that you talked about last week being so important?
Good talking to you.
Yeah.
now I got the pinwheel of death here.
Huh.
That's weird. I don't know. It doesn't want to play past 12 seconds. 1 minute, 12 seconds. Wow, that's all right. So you thought that was fantastic?
Well, that was an interesting
video
clip.
there.
There's several clips I do have.
An interesting clip. It's hogwash, dude. Like
you don't think
comparing them to Nazis because they got attacked and they got to destroy them all. They got to stop it once and for all.
Oh, they got to stop it. So you're justifying the genocide.
decades.
So what? How many people need to get exterminated there, Brian? Or what should they do to the? What are they going to do with the Palestinians then? Okay, well, let's,
all of hummus.
Okay, well, all of hummus is maybe a small percentage of all of the people that are actually.
Where do you
there.
get that it's a small percentage?
Well, what percentage would you say of the people in Palestine are pro-Hamas?
Oh,
Considering
shit,
half the
different number
population
than-
is like under 18 did not vote for Hamas. So do they all deserve to be destroyed?
Why don't you ask hummus that started this? They're the ones responsible here.
Hey, I have no.
You're
Hey,
blaming the people that
going
got
after
attacked.
them too.
for
This
the
is awful.
retaliation.
Hamas leader refusing to acknowledge killing of civilians in Israel. Fuck Hamas. Fuck the Nazis. But that doesn't mean that they're supposed to go in there and carpet bomb the shit out of Gaza. It's disgusting. It's open genocide, and they're spreading bullshit propaganda about beheaded babies or babies in ovens. I mean, if they were the good guys, why are they making stuff up like that? So
I said this before in one of the previous shows. I don't know the specifics of every single circumstance and every single report that we.
All right. Well, let's.
How do we know that none of this stuff did happen? You seem very convinced that none of these atrocities happened. I don't know. I kind of watched a naked lady being dragged through the streets in the back of a truck, getting smacked around. They found her decapitated head later, have legs broken, naked body. Just I don't know. 1,400 more of those people. Yeah, I'd be a little pissed too.
What happened was awful, but to make stuff up, because like that lady, they said it was like beheaded and dragged. That didn't happen. Or she was naked and dragged around and beheaded, but that didn't actually happen. Yeah, was she murdered? Yes, that was awful. But then just make it sound like it's a lot
we
worse.
saw the pictures of it. In that white truck, in the bed of the truck, we watched it.
I haven't seen any confirmation of
happen.
that. Maybe that's true.
Because you're watching the Palestinian girl as your news.
Well, I like
the
Syrian girl. Great. She's been
pro-Palestinian
around for a long
information.
time, and she gives out a different perspective on it. Yes, a Middle East.
Yeah, an
perspective.
anti-Jewish perspective, an anti-Israeli perspective. It's a opinion that you're very sympathetic to.
I am
you do tend to
sympathetic with
gravitate
innocent
toward those
people,
stories.
right? Yes, that are caught in the middle of this. And here we go. Let's run a quick clip from Max Blumenthal, who's an independent investigative journalist who's actually spent time in Palestine. Is actually has a great documentary out. Maybe Brian, you should check that out and get a different perspective on things. But he's saying he's repeatedly heard the words by Zionist Israelis that anti-occupation Israeli Jews going out to protest the expulsions of the Palestinian families. He says he's never witnessed as much anti-Semitism as he did inside of Israel. So let's check this one. He's saying Hitler made a big mistake by not putting you guys in the gas chamber.
Hitler made a mistake. You should have been in the gas chamber. Too bad. But we're here and you're gonna go to hell.
Evil. So sorry, I can't get on the Zionist side. She's even going against her own Jewish people because they're not the Zionists. We've got this, not Nazi Germany. This is Zionist Israel in 2021. celebrating death to the Arabs, around the dead. Nakba is coming soon. Camps, they want to ruin them. And you go to Nakba Day. It's showing this. There's some more footage from Abby Martin showing about how the Israel movement of Gaza. Civilian Arabs from Gaza, how they're going to be taking over. Mission of the expulsion of Arab villagers from the mentioned villages
by demolishing their houses.
They wanted Hamas in there so that they could consider
to
everybody
Gaza,
enemy combatants, so they have basically a right to destroy them all. Load them on vehicles, deport them, burning down villages, surveying the refugees of movements, laying mines in the roots even. I mean, there's some horrific stuff. And in fact, since I got to go soon, Brian, maybe you'll allow me to play one more video that I think is,
you get the end of each show, and you get,
you get to rebut it when I'm gone. You completely
bombing safe route. Tell them to take the safe route. Take the safe route. Okay, now bomb the safe route. Bombing safe route. Tell them to go to the refugee center. Attention Palestinians, go to the refugee center. Now bomb the refugee center. Bombing refugee center. Oh, what? Looks like some of them are getting into ambulances. Bomb the ambulances. Copy. They're on their way to the hospital. Bomb the hospital. Bombing hospital. Okay, now tell them there's an escape route south to Egypt. Attention Palestinians, head south to Egypt. Okay, now bomb the escape route. Figured that. And again. Already on it? And again. What are we gonna tell the press? Beheaded babies.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the Israel versus Palestine playbook. And we're seeing it play out again.
That's pretty much the playbook, Blake says.
Okay. Yes, and it doesn't matter. Brian's going to be 100%. He will make excuses. There is nothing they could do. They could blow up every church and school and hospital, nursing home, and Brian's okay with that. So, Brian, what should we do with Palestine? Should we load them all up in trains and just have them taken to camps, and we can just exterminate them because of Hamas, as you call it, because they attacked first?
Well, I've noticed a trend.
Yes.
You don't seem to believe that the violent militants are in tunnels.
I know they are.
You don't seem to believe that they are in ambulance. You don't seem to believe that they're in hospitals. You don't seem to believe that they're hiding behind civilians.
But it's always that. It's always human shields. It's always, they were in the hospitals. Oh, there's a base there. Oh, there's terror. There's one leader at a refugee camp.
And so you say that as if you don't believe it. Why don't you believe what's actually happening?
I do. Why don't you believe what's happening?
There's no debate that that's happening.
You think that
and that it's happened for decades.
Right. And you don't think that there's any wrongdoing by the Israelis there at all?
Well, hang on. One question at a time. You say that, and then it's like, oh, they're so silly. They keep repeating this lie. It's factual. You're saying that it is incorrect. That doesn't happen.
Well, maybe there's of course there's terrorists that are killed, but do you say that you think every hospital that's been blown up had Hamas terrorists like having a headquarters there and there was weapons there? You think every ambulance has got terrorists on it? I mean, there's been horrific stuff there. So the refugee camp that got bombed last week. Well, a war, yeah, they can't get supplies.
It is
all their power, all the utilities shut off. You continue to make excuses.
No, we should help the enemy that's butchering us. Okay, yeah, we should help them. That seems wise. So if your neighboring state, if Georgia just decides to go to war with Tennessee, and all of the water's filtering through a river that you have, and you're supplying the power. Oh no, here we're in a full-fledged war. You just took out whatever percent. It's a tiny little country. 1,500 people being butchered that day a month ago was a number of people getting butchered. but you're supposed to just keep providing them. Here, have some more oil. Here, have some more energy. Here, have some more water. Here, have some more power. Like, we want to help you keep slaughtering us. That's what war is.
Hamas. You're going. They're tens of thousands of people are getting fucking wiped out, man. Is it like, was it 10,000 and 3,000 some children? I mean, that's what's happening there. And what percentage of Hamas terrorists have they killed? A few dozen? So many innocent people. So, I mean, I think there's Mike Adams is putting out a quote like, if there were like Hamas in New York, should we just start like blowing up like whole neighborhoods because we might get a few of the Hamas people? I mean, that's what you're asking for. I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of human rights abuses against Palestinians over the 75 years. I could go over all of these. I don't have time to, and obviously I have to go. There's another one by Caitlin Johnstone that put this out. The dumbest things we've being asked to believe about Gaza, that Israel had no idea what Hamas was up to prior to October 7th. But ever since, they've known about every hospital, mosque, school, refugee camp, and water tower that Hamas is hiding in. They blame all the deaths caused by Israeli weapons launched by Israel, rest solely on Hamas. Hamas is always using human shields. There's always bases hidden amongst the civilian populations. Be perfectly fine to murder children by the thousands because they're, human shields. Coincidence, Israel bombing Hamas targets and civilian infrastructure just so happens to look like what you would see if Israel was just, bombing civilian infrastructure and residential buildings and lying about its reasons for doing so. And I don't have much time, Brian, but you have the floor after I'm gone. And you got warmongers like Lindsey Graham. Civilian casualties are no big deal. No need to limit civilian casualties or provide humanitarian aid at all. And then some people are saying that this is a forced relocation so that they can have more land. And we've noticed that over the years that they keep getting smaller land, and they won't be able to rebuild anything because they don't allow the shipments of construction materials. It's always, they use the pipes to make rockets and blah, blah, blah.
Because they do.
Israel is just as complicit in this as any hummus, as you call it. So I'm not 100% on either side. I condemn Hamas. I condemn Nazis. But I'm also condemning the radicalized versions of Zionists who I've seen.
If Blake was in charge of the military after 1,500 of your own were butchered, what would you do differently? Like, you wave the wand, you're in charge. What does Blake do? Just real quick on your way out the door.
Yeah, go after, find the Hamas people. There's ways of going in there without just carpet bombing.
I mean, there's more than just carpet bombing going on. It's not just completely indiscriminate.
Okay. Well,
You're saying
have you seen the neighborhoods?
Forces.
Have you seen the before and after pictures of what they've done? They've just leveled those civilian neighborhoods, like beautiful areas that are now just reduced to rubble. You think just indiscriminately bombing everything is okay? I don't think that's okay. I don't think this needs to be a knee-jerk overreaction by what happened, by the horrific events. And I also want a full investigation of why the defenses were down before we go jump into anything. I don't trust Netanyahu, never have, and I want to know why the defenses are down. So yes, that's how I would do it, Brian.
All right.
If they're not under any imminent more threat to be attacked again, then why does there have to have this retaliation? Anyway, Brian, I gotta go. It's time. But you have the floor. Do what you will. Thank you, everybody. Looking forward to this Thursday. And we'll take it from there. All right.
Thank you, Blake. Blake's on Twitter. He's at TV's Blake Walley and at thenextlevelnews.com. Yeah, that is the definition of imminent threat. I disagree with Blake completely on that point. But, he runs out of time at the end. But we always give him the last, X amount of time to run through 3 or 4 stories that has a very specific slant, almost always. A friend sent this. I found this very interesting. Figured I'd share this with you. I think it'll speak for itself. Here we go. Columbia Anti-Semitic.
Hi everyone, we are live on YouTube with Columbia Anti-Semitic News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH, Hamas,
Yeah, all is Sim Hamas.
Yeah.
It's so trending right now.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes. Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapped in Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, but I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology.
Queer post-colonial astrology. But this is all on the heels. I mean, we should have covered what happened in D.C. a few days ago with these massive uprisings, an attack, an insurrection on the Capitol. All of the damage, all of the vandalism. But these are the groups that are simping for Hamas, if you will. It continues.
Ew. Jews make the world dirty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly.
Racist
And now
fluid.
for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter.
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum as-salam, and inshallah, Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the old oppression chic. Very drip.
Mr. Fatwa,
Very drip.
how are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
Do you need like humanitarian aid, food, fuel, medicine?
It's okay, I have everything. I'm only hungry for rockets.
As long as it's organic.
Yeah.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime, and we will throw you from the roof, you homosexual dirt.
Do you hear? Bro, want to throw me a rooftop party.
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So shukran. And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First we finish with Israel, and America is next.
Great! So, I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it would be a blast.
Can't wait. It will be so multicultural.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Die.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be Jews free. Yeah, that sounds better.
It is better.
So yeah, we put that out on our Telegram feed, TNAM Chat, TNAM CHAT, TNAM Chat. Actually, that was in TNAM Humor, TNAM Humor. So follow us on the Telegram channels because, you know, Facebook and YouTube, they're fickle. They're fickle beasts. We cannot count on them at all. But yeah, they sent that to me. I was laughing out loud at the absurdity of it and the sadness of it. But I guess that was kind of the point to illustrate some of these things. But yes, Kenneth, at the Capitol, it's going to be an interesting year. It's election day. If you're in a place that votes, go out there and vote today. Make your voice heard. I don't care what you vote for as long as it's against the Democrats. Definitely not an endorsement of the Republican Party, but I don't know what good the other side is promoting these days. I just don't see it. Tell my Gram. Yeah, tell your Gram. Tell your Gramp as well, please. Yeah, but Telegram. Follow us in all the places. YouTube.com/The New American Media. Rumble, we're The New American Media. And on Spotify, The Agree to Disagree Show. Follow us in all the places. And Blake has concerns and stories and perspectives. And some of them are fair. Some of those are not fair. Ridiculous. And he thinks some of my opinions and stories that I share are ridiculous. That last one was intentionally ridiculous on the TNAM Humor, TNAM Humor for The New American Media. But a lot of information can be gleaned through humor. And I think it's one of the most effective ways to get the point across of the absurdities of the modern world that we find ourselves in, trying to figure out what the hell. I mean, they've been fighting for thousands of years of like what we're supposed to be. We're all instant experts. I liked the peace before 1500 were butchered. I loved the peace there, the Abraham Accords. I was a fan of that. So whatever that is, that's what I am. That's my policy. I liked peaceful coexistence. I don't like whatever this is now. And I keep hearing the rumor that some of this is to get a passage, to get a shipping passage. What is it? Suez Canal. There's another canal that they want to build, but they want to build it right through Palestine. Now, if that's what this is all about, hey, I will very vocally have some opinions on this. There was obviously the situation where Lahaina burned, and the redevelopment plans there are already in place, and it's just you can't help but think something malicious could be happening, not just something accidental, something intentionally malicious. There's also that really large hurricane that went through. I'm having a hard time remembering exactly. It wasn't Costa Rica, it wasn't the Caymans. I don't think it was the Bahamas, but it just decimated a whole area. And it's like, oh, well, are they going to rebuild now? So if that's what this whole thing is about, and if Netanyahu was behind the attack so that he could then blah, 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 like, okay, if these are things that we can prove, then obviously our take on the situation will change. It will solidify in Blake's case. In my case, it would change. But in the absence of that, I just don't like 1,500 people being butchered. But I'm sure you feel the same. All right. Go vote if you can. And we'll be back on Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, to give you the most interesting stories in the news as we find them. Signing out, my name is Brian Engelman. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace. Peace is how I try to end the shows. Peace. Because that would be preferable.